Aloha, beautiful. Great to have you back. Don't miss out on any episode. Follow me on Facebook where you will receive additional information. Just look for Tita May. And for now, I wish you lots of new inspirations.
Aloha, my dear ones, and welcome to today's episode of I Am Aloha. Today I wanted to talk to you about another saying. Do you say saying? Well, you know, like a phrase or a quote. I actually don't know who's it from, but I think it's kind of like a life, how do you say, like life wisdom. And it's the thing that you say sometimes when something happens, when you say it's a blessing in disguise. You know, when something apparently bad happens, but in the end it's actually even better because you grow on it or with it, or you just become someone else, or you learn something from it. And I mean, you can see this probably in form of, like, if you lose a job, for example, and because whatever happens with your company and you're laid off, and at first it might seem bad, but maybe it's the universe telling you that this job is just not good for you. And you start looking for a different kind of job and you find something better, or you find a different direction that you take that makes you feel better and makes you feel more comfortable with yourself. So you know what I mean there. It's like really for you having that of being trusting that if something bad happens, it's for something good. That can happen in your job situation, or maybe something like this happens in your relationships. And I'm not talking about relationships like just with your partner, or I'm also talking about maybe friends or people you know, like colleagues. Sometimes, you know how sometimes you have a great partner in your job and they move or they have to change jobs because of whatever reason. And at first it might seem bad that they're going and that they're going to be leaving this hole in your life. But if you look at, maybe they're making space for someone else, for someone new to come into your life. That might be, I wouldn't say better, because I think that everyone is perfect the moment they are there. So I wouldn't say that something was bad for you, because you learned something from that situation. And maybe you had a friend and you lost that friend for whatever reason. Maybe you had a fight or something. But maybe due to that fight, you learned something about yourself. And with that, you were maybe open for different kinds of things with the new friends that you would find, because you will always find new friends. And as long as you keep your open mind and your open heart. And you know what I mean? It's like sometimes we lose someone, or we lose something like a job. And at first it just feels really bad. Maybe we're even feeling like there's something hollow. And the thing is that this saying that it's a blessing in disguise gives you the power back of changing whatever situation you have. Like you can decide to dwell in it, to feel like you are, how do you say, you're the victim of the situation. You know, you're the victim of fate that wants to harm you. But if you really look at it, maybe the universe has given you an opportunity to have something way better, or have something way bigger, or have something that's better for you, for your soul, for your heart. I sometimes imagine that our souls, before we are born, our soul decides, like, okay, when I go this time, when I'm incarnated this time, I want to have this and that job, or I want to have this and that experience, and I want this and that to be the goal that I have, like to be my, how do you say, my calling in life. And then we're born, our soul is born into a tiny body and forgets everything that happened before and starts to live life. And maybe due to the families or the things that we wanted to live in this life, we have certain families and we have certain expectations we're given, and then we start to walk into one direction to find our jobs and do stuff like that. But maybe it's not the calling we actually have from our soul. So we have like a couple of fail-safes that the soul actually made, that in case we're walking into the wrong direction, for example, we get laid off, or we have, you know, like sometimes some people live certain things that are not so beautiful, you know, like colleagues not being nice, or maybe you have a boss that's really bossy, and those are kind of like little signs that you're going the wrong way. And then, but you still don't listen, you keep walking that way. So the soul has the big fail safe. Maybe you start getting sick, or you know, like that, and then or the big fail safe of just losing the job. And then you're there, and then you feel like, this is so bad, you know, you don't have a job anymore. And at first it might feel like that. And it's okay to dwell in it a little bit, but I think after a while you're going to have to stand up and just not be, you know, not be that victim anymore, but be the creator, and maybe see that whatever job you just lost is only an opportunity for you to find a different path. Maybe you'll even wake up and say, hey, I didn't like that job anyway. I didn't want to do that anyhow. Oh, I want to be a painter, or maybe I want to be a musician. No, I'm not just talking about creative jobs, but you know, like maybe you decide that you want to be a person that does woodwork and works with stuff like that, you know, building stuff. Maybe you like that, or maybe you like knitting. You know what I mean? It's like it gives you an opportunity to change certain things and to open up to certain things and become this bigger something. So there you see, that's a blessing in disguise, exactly like with the people in our lives. And I think that's the important part, to not forget that the universe is there to take care of us. The universe is there to watch over us, to help us. And if something feels like, or if something happens to you that's not nice, it has a reason. If something happens to you that might bring up your fear of something, it has the reason that the universe wants you to listen up, that you still have that fear and that you should overcome that fear, that you should learn to trust, and that you should learn to transform the things that happen to you. You know, it's a typical one. I mean, we've been working through a couple of things here with the I Am Aloha podcast. And remember that we were saying about certain things that we project into the world. And if you look at those things that you project into the world, maybe the fears, maybe the old pains, things like that. And when those appear, you know, in something that might not feel comfortable, that might hurt, those things appear because the universe is trying to tell you, hey, look at it, you know. And then once you look at it and you transform it for yourself, you're going to realize that suddenly you feel lighter, because you were able to let go of whatever was holding you there. And you're going to see the blessing that was behind that thing that happened to you. And if you do that, if you start seeing the negative things that happen to you as blessings that might bring you closer to yourself, to your heart, because you start transforming the negative things. I'm not saying start building a wall. Don't do that. Don't build a wall. Why? What for? You're not going to be able to see the wonders of the world if you start building a wall with all the negative things that happen to you. Take them, look at them. Give yourself space to look at them, to feel them, and then transform them so that you can release them. And you will see, once you release them, you'll see the blessing behind them, because you start to grow as a person, as a being, and you start doing the things that are awesome. And all the things that happen to you, all the beautiful things and all the negative things, have made you the wonderful person that is here now sitting there listening to this podcast. So be thankful for that, but also be aware of that everything that has happened, even the negative things, have brought you to this moment. And you have the strength to keep on going and see the blessing in all those things and to grow out of them and see the beautiful things and the better things that have come. You know, like when you release something, it's just to give space for something bigger. And yeah, I think that's something beautiful that we as human beings should honor and should be aware of. So that's why I just wanted to remind you, don't pull yourself into the role of the victim. Allow yourself to grieve or to be angry if you want to be angry. But don't do that too long. Remind yourself that you are here you're the one that can decide what's important for you and what's good for you. And you're the one that can decide to be either happy or not, and to see the blessings or not. And I hope you do see all the blessings that surround you. So for that, sending you a big hug, wishing you a great weekend, and looking forward to talk to you next week again. Sending you a big hug. Bye-bye, guys. Have a lot of blessings.
Thanks a lot for tuning in again. I hope you were able to get some good takeaways for yourself. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and leave a review. And if you'd like to receive some more inspirational information, sign up to Tita May's Weekly Inspirations. You can find the link on my website, titamayola.com. I'm looking forward to inspire you some more, and until then, aloha mahalo, e ho'omai kai kako, e ahui ho.